lamp that would burn for about 8 hours, and they weren't supposed to let it go out. And so that would be a good task for a young man, a young boy, as he's serving there in the temple. And God calls audibly to Samuel for the first time. In verse 4, he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I did not call. Go back, lie down." So he went and lay down. So the answer from Eli is one of a little bit of annoyance. Perhaps if he had been closer to the Lord, he would have been more sensitive to what God might be doing in the life of Samuel. When parents are close to the Lord, it's easier for them to be able to help their kids discern what God might be doing in their lives. If the parents are far from the Lord, it's going to be very hard for the parents to give counsel to their children who are trying to find their way with the Lord. I mean, that's a pretty common sense thing. If we're used to hearing from God, if we know how God speaks to us, it's going to be easier for us to give guidance to someone else who is looking to follow the Lord. And here, Eli was not following the Lord, nor were his sons. And so the Lord was going directly to Samuel and speaking directly to Samuel, but there was a little bit of a battle in understanding what exactly was happening. Verse 6, Yahweh called again, "Samuel." So Samuel arose, went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." And he answered, "I did not call, my son. Go back and lie down." So a second time it happens, and Samuel's having trouble discerning the voice of God, which is understandable because it's never happened to him before. In verse 7, now Samuel did not yet know Yahweh, nor had the word of Yahweh yet been revealed to him. There we go. Now we know why. That explains it. Samuel was young, and as I've said, probably young as maybe as the age of 12 or early teens. And God was not speaking often in this evil time, as is seen here in the first couple of chapters. And this is Samuel's first experience with hearing from God. So he's struggling just a little bit to hear. But the important point that we want to remember at this point is that his mother made him available. She made him available to God. And that's the key. That's the key. Because he was there. He was where he needed to be for God to speak to him. Secondly, and this is one more away from the parents now, I'm going to speak to the young people. I'm going to speak to the young people whose parents are sitting next to them this morning. You're maybe children, maybe you're 8, maybe you're 12, maybe you're 18, I don't know. But the second point is more for our kids. Samuel was made available by his parents, but Samuel turned his attention to God. Samuel's attention was on God. Parents can only do so much, as we've already mentioned today. We can only make conditions favorable. At some point, young people, you need to respond to God favorably. You need to say yes to the opportunity to put your faith in Jesus Christ. You must be willing to hear God and then obey God when he speaks. Now, how does God speak to us today? We don't hear audible voices anymore. You don't come here into the church and listen for God. You don't hear God at home. You don't hear audible voices. You hear